Hello everyone, hope you are doing good today. So in this video I'm going to explain you all about JWT, that is JSON Web Token. So in this video you're going to learn what is JWT, why should we use it, and few examples of JWT and the structure of JWT. And also I'm going to explain you how to create JWT in Java using HS512 and RSA algorithm. And also I'm going to explain you how you can validate a JWT in Java. So let's start. Please watch the video till the end, otherwise you're going to miss something. And if you like the content, then please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Hello everyone, hope you are doing good today. In this video I'm going to explain you what is JWT and why should we use it, and I will also show you the structure and one example of JWT. So please watch this video till the end, otherwise you might miss something. So let's start. So what is JWT? JWT stands for JSON Web Token, is an open standard used to share security information between two parties, that is a client and a server. And all the JWT contents are encoded JSON object, including a set of claims or payload. Basically its content are information which we generate in the server and then pass it to the client, and then client can again send it to the server, so that server can identify the client very easily. Okay, so all the JWTs are signed using a cryptographic algorithm to ensure that the claims or payload cannot be altered after the token is generated. Okay, and it's mainly used for authentication and authorization purpose. So in today's market there are two type of authentication processes available, that is one using session ID and the another one is JWT. So this two type of authentication is available mainly for client server applications, those applications which require a client and a server, where server needs to validate the each request of the client, because we know that in browser we use HTTP protocol. Okay, and HTTP protocol is stateless, so server will not be able to identify HTTP request whether it is already came to the server before or not. Okay, so now let me explain you what is session ID authentication. Okay, you can see in this diagram that client, which is the browser, and there is a server. Okay, so let's say one user is trying to log into his account. Okay, so user will provide username and password. Okay, and then it will send to the server. So what server will do? Server will validate the user, and then it will create a session for that user, and then it will store the session in server memory. Okay, and then it will pass the session ID as a cookies to the browser. Okay, and then the user wants to check his status of order. Let's say user want to check the status of his 1 2 3 order. Okay, so what user will do? Then the browser will send in the next request the session ID in the cookies, and then it will pass to the server. Okay, and then server will find the session from its memory, and then it will validate the user, and then it will pass the response to the browser. And if there is no session, then it will throw some error. Okay, so now let's see the problem with this authentication process. Okay, let's see this diagram. Okay, so let's say there is in your architecture diagram, in your production environment you are using 3 server. Okay, so and there is a load balancer. Okay, which will forward the request to any one of this server, because in production you have huge traffic. Okay, so one server is not enough to handle all the requests, so that's why you need many servers. So let's say user 1 is trying to log into the system using request 1. Okay, so request 1 is sent to server 1. Okay, now server 1 is authenticated the user and created the session for user, and then pass the session information to the browser using a cookie. Okay, now let's say user 1 is doing another request, that is request 2, and the request 2 is send it to server with the cookie information. Okay, now server 1 can easily find the session information using the cookies, and then it will validate the user. Okay, now let's say server 1 goes down. Okay, now what will happen, the user will do another request, request 3, and now load balancer will try to send this request 3 to the server 2. Okay, and in server 2 you will not have the session for this user. Okay, so server will not be able to validate this user, then server 2 will throw an error. Okay, so this structure is valid if you are not using sticky session. Okay, and if you are using sticky session, then what will happen, if server 1 goes down, then the load balancer will not be able to process the request 3 anymore. Okay, so this is the problem with session ID authentication. Okay, now let's solve this problem with JWT. So let me explain you what is JWT authentication. Okay, so let's take the same example. Okay, so here the user, that is the browser, is trying to log into the system using user login using email and password. Okay, so user information, that is email and password, is sent to the server. Now what server will do, server will validate the user. Okay, and it will create the session and it will put the session in Redis. Okay, so now here we are introducing another component, that is Redis. Okay, so now server is not keeping the session in its own memory. Okay, and then when it will create the session in Redis, it will add the key of the session inside the JWT. Okay, and then it will pass the JWT to the user. Okay, so in the next request, user will send the JWT in the HTTP header, and the server will retrieve it from the header, and then it will also retrieve the session ID from that JWT, and then it will try to search the session in Redis. Okay, and then it will verify the user, and then it will respond to the browser. So now here, if one server goes down, then there is no problem, because the another server will try to find the session in Redis. Okay, so now let's go to the architecture diagram. Okay, so here you see the new architecture with JWT. Okay, let's say user is trying to log into the system, and there is a load balancer. So load balancer will forward the request for the login to the server 1, and then server 1 will create the JWT, and then it will create the session in Redis, and it will put the session object in Redis, and then it will put the key of the session object in the JWT. Okay, and then in the next request, browser will send that JWT to the load balancer, and then load balancer will forward it to any one of the server. Okay, here you don't need to manage the sticky session. Okay, so that load balancer can forward it to the server where there is a less number of load. Okay, because now server don't need to store the session, so any of the request can be processed by any one of these server. Now you can say that if Redis goes down, so the benefit of Redis is that Redis has many replicas. Okay, so you can create a Redis with 2 shards, so that there will be always many replicas for Redis. Okay, so if one goes down, another can easily serve you. Okay, so in this case, you can easily solve the problem using JWT. So let me show you some example of JWT and the structure of JWT. So you see the structure of JWT. So each and every JWT will have a header. Header will have the information, that the name of the algorithm, which algorithm you have used to generate the JWT, and then the payload. Okay, so inside payload you will have the issue time, expiration time, so that you can check whether the JWT has expired or not, and then the signature. so signature is necessary so that no one can alter it. And now you see the browser sends encoded JWT. Okay, so this is the JWT you will have inside browser. So in your program you will have a JSON object, and then when you will create the JWT you will encode it like this, and then this JWT will be sent to the browser, and then browser will pass this JWT to the server for the next consecutive request. Okay, and here you can see the decoded JWT. So this is the JWT. If you decode it using JWT.io, you can see this. So this is the header, you can see the algorithm, and this is the payload. So here you can put the session ID, user ID, and using this ID you can find the user in Redis. And the signature is very important, because suppose the client is trying to alter the JWT, and client has modified the expiration time. Okay, so that the JWT can be valid for more than 365 days. Okay, but it's not possible, because no one can alter it, because they don't have the signature. So only server has the signature, so server can generate the JWT and pass it to the client side. So it's not possible for the users to alter any of the payload or the header information. So guys, that's all for today's video. In my next video I am going to show you how you can generate a JWT using Java. Okay, so if you want to learn more about JWT, please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Hope you are doing good today. In my last video I have explained what is JWT. So if you have not watched it yet, then please find the link of the video in the description. So in this video I am going to show you how we can create a JWT token in Java. Before showing you the code, I will explain you the structure of the JWT, so that it will help you to understand the code better. So now in this structure you can see here that each JWT contains three parts, that is the header and the payload and the signature. And in this example you see the three parts are separated by a dot, and the first part is the header, and the second part is the payload, and the third one is signature. So now let me explain you how you can sign the JWT. Okay, so all the JWTs are signed using one of these two algorithms, that is SH512 signing algorithm, which is a symmetric key hashing algorithm that uses one secret key. Symmetric means two parties share the secret key, and the key is used for both generating the signature and also to validate it. Okay, so here the disadvantage is that both the parties using the same key. Okay, so now the another one is RS512 signing algorithm, and which is an asymmetric algorithm that uses a public and private key pair. The identity provider has a private key to generate the signature, and the receiver, if the receiver wants to validate it, then the receiver has the public key to validate it. Okay, so the public key used to verify and the private key used to generate the tokens are linked, since they are generated as a pair. Okay, so no one can modify a generated JWT because it's signed by one of these two algorithms. So now let me explain you JWT claims and payload. So in the JWT structure, I have shown it to you that the second part is the payload, okay, or claims, okay. So in the payloads you can add user data plus technical data, okay. So basically user data is known as claims, that is user ID, session ID, and the example of technical data is like the issue time, expire time, and audience, okay. So audience means like it's the identifier of the project who is generating the token, and there are many other things also. So for this video I am going to explain you how to generate JWT using HS 512 key, okay. In the description of this video you will find the link of the source code I am going to show you, so you can easily download it from GitHub and then you can run it in your local environment. So I have already written the code for you, so now I am going to explain you how you can create the JWT in Java, okay. So create JWT in Java, you need these three dependencies, okay. So you can easily find this dependency in my Maven repo, and I will also provide in the description of this video, so you can just copy it, okay. So this library provides few classes, and using those classes you can create the JWT very easily, okay. So the main thing is that there is a class called JWT builder. You have to create the object of this class using jwts.builder, okay. And then I have told you that in this example I am going to show you using HS 512 algorithm, okay. So here you see the key. So I have defined a key, and this is a random number, okay. You can put anything here. So as I have shown to you that JWT has three parts here: header, payload, and the signature, okay. So first I am going to show you how you can add headers, okay. So in the JWT builders there are already predefined methods. It's called set header, okay. So you can use this method to set the headers. So here is also a constant class JWT header. So here they have already defined few constants, so you can use it. So JWT type, so it's the type of the JWT, that is it is JWT, and then you can set the algorithm. So what type of algorithm you are using to generate it. So this is the algorithm I am using, and then you can add an ID of this key. You can put 1, 2, 3, whatever you want. It's to identify, and you can apply your own logic to verify it, okay. Suppose you have two type of JWT key, that is one is with ID 1 and another with ID 2. So you can validate ID 1 with one type of key, and with the JWT with key ID 2 you can validate with a different key, okay. So that's the use of this key. So now let me show you payload. So in the JWT structure I have explained to you that the second part is the payloads, okay, and payloads contains user data, that is claims, and technical data, okay. So how you can add claims in my builder? So for that you have to create an object like this in Java. So I have created a object of hash map, and then you see the name of the object is my content, and in my content I have added user ID and session ID, okay, and the values is 1, 1. So for your case it should be project specific. And how you can set my content in the claims. So in the my builder there is a predefined method set claims. So you have to use this method to set the my content object, okay, and that's it. So that's the way you can add user data or claims. And then I told you that payloads contain technical data also. So technical data you can set it directly in the builder. So that is my builder already has few predefined methods, like you can add the subject using set subject method, and also you can add the audience, and also the issuer means who is issuing it, so it should be the project name for you when you are working on a project. And then the time of issue when the JWT is generating, and also you can add the expiration time, so that when you will validate it you can check the expiration time, and if it's already expired, then you can throw an error that JWT is not valid. Okay, and here is the signature. So this is the most important thing. Okay, so how I'm signing this JWT? So you see this class is provided by Java, okay, using in the security package. So you have to use this class to create the signing key. So this is the way I am creating the signing key. Okay, so this is my key. So this is the key I have defined here. Then using this class, and this class is provided by the dependency I have added in this project. Okay, so this one, JWT API. So after getting the signing key, okay, you have to also create the algorithm. So you have to pass the algorithm, then you have to instantiate an object of this class signature algorithm, which is provided by, you see, the JSON Web token package, that is the JWT API. And then you have to sign like this. Okay, my builder dot sign with. So this sign with method is provided by the library, so you have to use it to sign the key. Okay, and then you just need to call this method, okay, compact, my builder dot compact, then it will give you the JWT token. Okay, and then you can return it as a header, or you can return directly in the object, whatever you want. Okay, so for this example I have just written it in the response of the API. Okay, so now let me build it. So I will use Maven to build this project, and then let's go to the WAR file. So I have created a API, that is the user API, and the method is login. Okay, so I am not passing anything, username and password. So first what you will do, you will receive a username and password. Okay, and then you will authenticate the user, and after authenticating the user you will generate the JWT key. Okay, but for the moment I am just showing you how you can generate it. But the real use case is, after validating the user, you should create a session in Redis or any database like DynamoDB, and then you can generate the token, and then you should pass the token to the user. Okay, so let me show you. I will go to Tommy. I am using Tommy server to deploy it. So server is running already. So now let me show you the JWT. So this is my URL. I have already tested it. So you see, this is the JWT. Okay, so now I will show you how you can decode it. Okay, so you have to go to jwt.io. okay, and then you need to paste it here, and then you will see it. Okay, you see, I have added the type JWT, and the algorithm is HS512, and then KID is 1, okay, and this is the payload. So these two are user claims, and then these are the technical data. And you see the signature is not valid. If you copy the signature and paste it here, you will see it's the signature is verified, okay. So that's the way you can generate a JWT in Java, and then you can build your own authentication and authorization mechanism. So in my next video I am going to show you how you can generate JWT using RSA 512 certificate, okay. So in my next video I am going to show you how you can create a self signed certificate, and certificate means public and private key, and I will show you how you can use those private and public key to generate and verify JWT. So that's all from today's video. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos related to programming. Hello everyone, hope you are doing good today. So today I am going to show you how you can generate JWT token using RSA algorithm in Java, okay. So in my last video I have already explained to you how you can generate a JWT token in Java using HS 512 algorithm, okay, which is a symmetric algorithm, but today I am going to show you using RSA algorithm, which is a asymmetric algorithm. So as I explained to you that there are two type of algorithm available to generate a JWT token. So one is HS 512 and another one is RS 256, okay, which is known as RSA algorithm, okay. So RSA is a asymmetric algorithm, so you need to create a private key, and using that private key you need to create a public key. So that public key will be a self-signed public key, but in your production environment you have to sign it from your client or whatever system you have. But today I am going to show you how you can do it in your local, okay. So these two commands you need to use to create private key and public key, okay. So you don't need to worry about it. I will provide these two commands in the description of this video, okay. So you see you can generate this private key if you have JDK installed in your system. So you just need to execute this command. So let me explain you this command. This is just a key tool command. So it will generate a key pair, and you need to provide this alias, because this in Java code you need to provide this alias, so you need to remember it. And then the algorithm, so this is RS algorithm, and you need to provide the validity period, that is 365 days for me, and type of file, that is the key store with the extension. So store type is apk12, so this is the extension, and the key size, okay. So let me execute this. So it's better to, so I'm going to show you in Tommy, okay. So that's why I have created a folder inside class path of Tommy, that is configuration folder. Inside configuration folder I have created a new folder called JWT cert. So here I am going to create the certificates, that is private key and public key, okay. So here it will ask you to provide a key store password, so please try to remember it or write it down somewhere. So for me I will provide test 1 2 3 4, okay, test 1 2 3 4. And now it will ask you few things. So provide your first name and last name, and then it will provide your organization unit. So try write whatever you want, city, locality, Kolkata. I will provide West Bengal, and then country code for me it's India, and all this information are correct or not. So yes, so it's generated the private key. Okay, so here the private key. So this private key you gonna use to generate the JWT token. Okay, and you should not share it with anyone, otherwise anyone can generate it and then they will push it to the server for misuse. Okay, you should share the public key. So now I'm going to show you how you can generate the public key. So this is the command, is the same command, so you have to use the alias also, so you can use the same alias, and then this is the private key you are using to generate the public key. So this is the public key. So this is the password for your private key. Okay, so now the public key is already generated. Okay, so I have already generated private key and public key. Now I am going to show you how you can generate a JWT using your private key, that is the RSA private key. Okay, so in my last video I have explained to you how you can generate JWT using HS512 algorithm. Okay, that is a symmetric key. So this key is used to generate the JWT, and also this key is used to validate the JWT also. Okay, so now I am going to show you how you can generate it using RSA 256 algorithm. Okay, so here you have to use the private key to generate it and then the public key to validate it. Okay, so here everything will be same. Okay, you just need to add the header. So here and this is the class provided by the library, so I have already explained it to you. So these three libraries are used to generate the JWT in Java. So these are called JWT, that is Java JWT API. And don't worry about those dependencies. You can download the source code from GitHub. I will provide you the GitHub link in the description of the video. So here the API name is login RSA. It's just a name, it can be anything for you. And this is the class which we are going to use to generate the JWT, and you have to define the algorithm, and then there are three header information, the type of the token, that is JWT, the algorithm, and you are providing a ID. So this ID you can use to validate it, and then the content, as I have explained you in my last video, that JWT contains user claim and the technical data. So these claims are actual content where you can put the user information and session ID, and then these are the technical data, that is the subject and the audience. Audience means for whom you are creating this token, and the issuer is like your project name or something. So this audience and issuer will also be used to validate the JWT token. And then you have to provide the issue time and the expiration time. So when you will validate it, this time will be used. If the JWT is expired, then you can throw an error to user. And now the signing key. Okay, so last time is just key, so you just hard coded it in the Java code, but here you have to get it from the file. So this is my private key. Okay, so it's just a file, so I'm just reading the file and then creating a input stream and then passing it to the key store class. So this is provided by Java security package. So and then you just need to load it using the password, and then you have to create a key. Okay, this is also provided by Java.security. So that key you need to create, using the private key file. Okay, so here I am creating the key and then I am setting it in the my builder. Okay, that's it. And then you have to call this method compact. It's the same as before, and then it will give you the JWT, and which will be signed by RSA algorithm. Okay, so it's success. Now let me deploy it in my Tommy server. So this is the private key and the public key, but for the moment I am generating it, so I will use only the private key. Now let me start my server. So the server is started. Okay, so this is my old method to generate the JWT using a HS512 algorithm, which I explained to you in my last video, but today I am going to show you using RSA. So if you write the name of the API, that is login RSA, it will give you the JWT using a RSA private key. Okay, so you see the JWT here. Now if you go to jwt.io, you can read the content. So you see here, you can see the signature, that is a RSA, and the content, and this is the header as I explained to you, and the content is session ID, user ID, and these are the technical data to validate the JWT. Okay, so that's all, you guys. So this is the way you can use to generate a JWT using a RSA algorithm, and which is asymmetric. So you can create the JWT using your private key, and then you can create a public key, so that you will provide that public key to your client who needs to use your JWT to validate something. Okay, so that you don't need to share your public key with anyone. But with a HS512, you have only one key, so if someone need to validate it, you just need to share it with them, so that they can validate it. But the disadvantage is that they can create the new JWT and then they can push it to the server for misuse. Okay, so you should not use HS512 algorithm. So try to use RSA algorithm to generate JWT. So guys, that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and in my next video I am going to show you how you can validate the JWT token generated using RSA algorithm. Hello everyone, hope you are doing good today. So in today's video I am going to explain you how you can validate a JWT token in Java using RSA algorithm. Okay, so in my last video I have shown to you how you can create a JWT token in Java using RSA algorithm. Okay, so today I am going to validate that token using RSA algorithm. So let's start. So in my last video I have explained to you how you can create a private key and also public key. So now I am going to use that public key to validate the JWT. Okay, so in my last video I have created these two key, that is private key and public key. So using this private key I have already generated a JWT token. So I am going to validate it using the public key. Okay, so in Java how you can do it? So to validate it I have created a API name Authenticate. So for you it can be anything, depends on your project. So I will take that JWT as an input in HTTP header. Okay, so this is my header name, so I will use this header to pass the token to server. And then how you can validate it? So I have created a method to verify JWT. Here you just need to pass the token. Okay, and the validation will also be done using the same dependencies as I explained to you before. So this API is provided by Java, that is called Java JWT API, JWT API. So you can use these 3 dependencies to validate the token. You can download the source code from GitHub and you can use the dependencies in your project. So here, so this class is used to verify it. So that is JWTs, which is provided by io.json web token. From here you can have this class from this one of these 3 dependencies. And then you have to provide the audience, as I explained to you that when you created the JWT, you have provided the audience. Okay, so you can verify that also, that the audience is proper or not. So you can have many audience, right? So you can verify the audience, and also you can verify the issuer, so who issued the JWT. So if these are not matched, then it will throw an error. And then you can provide the public key here to verify it, whether it is a valid JWT token generated by you or not, because you have generated it using the private key you have, and also you created the public key using that private key. And then you need to call these methods. Okay, so it will also parse the JWT and it will give you the claims like this, collection of all the content it will provide to you. Then you can iterate these claims and you can find all the content and the technical things also. And then if there is any issue in the JWT, it will throw these exception if the signature is not valid, if the JWT expired. So then you can create your own message to forward it to user, so that user can display it in the browser. Okay, so malformatted exception, like if the JWT format is not valid or there is some illegal argument. So there are many, I think you can find it out from the internet. Okay, and then how I am reading the public key, so it's the same as private key. So you just need to read your public key using the Java file class. Okay, and then you need to create a input stream, and then you have to use the certificate factory that is provided by Java also, java.security package. And then you can create the public key like this, and you can return the key class. Okay, and then you have to pass this key class to the Java JWT libraries. Okay, and then it will validate it using your public key. And after validating it, so you will have this if you use the parse claim, okay, you will have the collection of claims like this. Okay, and then you can iterate it. So there is a content key, okay, from where you will get the content, and then you will get the issuer like this. My claims as a method called getBody. From here you will get the issuer, subject, audience. So all these things you can use for many purposes. It's depend on your project. Okay, so here if the JWT is not valid, that means it will be in the exception block. Okay, so from here you can return something to the user. For me, I am just returning forbidden. If it is not valid, it will return some HTTP status code. Okay, and then it will get the message from the exception, and then it will be forwarded to the user. Okay, so let me build the project and deploying. So I think my server is running. Let me stop it. So build successful. So let me deploy the war file. So it's already started. You see, I have 3 API, that is this one, as I explained to you before, to generate the JWT using HS 512, this API login RSA to generate the JWT using RSA algorithm. So I am going to use it to generate the JWT token. So I have already used it before to show you. So you see, so this is the JWT. Okay, and now I'm going to take the another URL, authenticate. So you have to send something in the header. Okay, so it's better to use some tools to do the test. So for me, I will use the SOAP UI. So this is the URL you see here. Okay, so this is my API, authenticate API. Okay, so now let me copy the JWT token, and then I have created a header here. Okay, in the header I am passing this key, as I have explained to you. I have created a new header. Okay, so in this header I am expecting the JWT token. So now let's call the API. You see, JWT formatted invalid. So maybe I have copied something wrong. Let me go to JWT first. Okay, it's a valid token. So now let me call the API again. I don't know, maybe there is something. You see, auth success. So now if you put something here, okay, if you see, I put another character here, and if you call this API, it will say JWT format is invalid. Okay, and now let me show you. Let me create the JWT using HS 512 algorithm. Okay, so this is the API which will create the JWT using HS 512 algorithm. So this is the JWT using HS 512. If I will try to validate it using HS 512, you will get error. Okay, I think I copied something wrong. I don't know why it's like this. Let me paste it here first. Okay, fine. You see, JWT not supported. Okay, that means it's created by another algorithm. So that's all from today's videos. I will provide the GitHub link for the source code in the description of this video. You can download it and you can test it in your local, or you can just copy paste the validation part. Okay, and all these methods, and you can use it in your project. So thank you guys, thanks for watching the video. If you like the content, then please subscribe to my channel for more videos.